like live.
Say we're live, but it's not showing on the channel.
I just saw it come up.
Oh, there we go. All right.
There we go. Helps to actually turn my mic up. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our town hall. For those who do not know me, my name's Corey Flegel. I am the Refuge president. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the state of the game, what we've been doing lately. We're going to also chat with several of the committee chairs and find out what they've been up to. We're going to be speaking with multiple different people. So thankfully, it looks like we're getting a little bit out of the COVID situation for most games. I believe at last count, we had a total of 21 games that were played, including the one from yesterday, which is really good. I mean, that beats the whopping 3, I believe we had last year, which was pretty brutal, but is to be expected. So upwards and onwards, I think it'll be wonderful when we finally see. Hello, Mark. How are you? All right, so we're going to get into this, and I think we'll be starting with, I believe Marley is going to be talking first. Maybe, hopefully. And we'll go from there. So with that, I will give it over to Marley. Uh-oh, who looks like he's frozen. Yes,
Yeah,
we
can
can.
you
hear me
There
now?
we go. Ha-ha.
Well, I'm curious to get what you likely have been expecting. A few committees coming up to chat with you all. They're going to tell you who they are. A lot of what goes on with Refuge can be a behind the scenes unless you're the type to dig into policy documents on the forums. They don't always get the spotlight we think they deserve. So they'll touch base on who they are, what they do. And if we've got a little bit of extra time, some might tell you what they've been up to lately. I'm gonna toss it over to Bailiff. We'll be talking for committees, both that they staff and for those who couldn't send a representative this time around.
So, greetings. I'm the Refuge chair, and at this time, I'm currently heading the Refuge Accountability Committee, which I really do not like because they consider it a conflict of interest. I would really prefer that we get somebody else in the position. I know that's being looked at, but if you're listening to this and you think that you have the chops for such a job, please feel free to reach out and contact, because that is something that we'd really appreciate having on hand. The Accountability Committee is essentially if somebody recognizes that there is a problem that should be handled at a national level because something is going wrong at a something is going horrifically wrong at a local level, the Accountability Committee is who we go ahead and turn to at this time. We've had multiple cases over the COVID time since the founding of Refuge. Insofar as we've gone through this, we've only had one national level ban, and everything else has been exonerated. There are a couple of cases that are currently working. Of course, there are cases that are currently working, so we can't discuss them. But we do go ahead and we have handled profile cases on the people in charge. So the goal is to maintain that accountability all the way up from your average player to myself or Corey if need be. And that's the reason that I don't want to be chair of the committee, although I have to in the interim until we find a replacement chair for Christine, who did a wonderful job in the position. I'm also going to be representing the RDEIC, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, whose chair, Jessica, could not be here today. The DEI is designed to go ahead and ensure that we have exactly what it says on the tin. We work towards better diversity. We work to make sure the game is equitable for all of our players, and we try and make the game more inclusive to those that we can. We have the DEI committee has been working on various things, including species representation as far as how we should go about it and where we can go ahead and reduce requirements for those who have specific issues with it. They're also working on streamlining and consolidating the touch and consent rules for the game, and working to mostly pick up along a lot of the old language which has not meshed well with some of the new language, and make sure that our approach to this is consistent throughout all of Refuge. I believe those are the only two committees that I will be representing today. So with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to Kat to introduce their committee.
Cat is currently crashed. I don't have... Oh.
In which case, we'll turn it over to Sunny.
All right, 1 second.
Hello. Hello. I'm here.
Oh.
I'm here.
We got Cat as Marley. All right.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
We live in the same house.
Live in the same house, fortunately. Yep. Yep.
Hi, I'm Kat.
I'm Kat.
I'm
here
representing
the promotional committee.
We do
mostly the announcements that you see written for the game,
as well as
some
Sunny, are you here?
promotional materials have been in the works for some time. We've got all sorts of stuff coming up, but mostly we do announcements, and it's been a great pleasure to work with this game in that manner. It is great to see the game benefit from having people who are able to produce things like that. So we love it. If you're interested, get me out.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
And
And that, we'll go over to
pass it
Sunny.
off there. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sunny,
representative
for the Refuge Monster Committee.
As the name might suggest,
we're hard at working
and
creating monsters. Specifically, the goal is to make a default set of monsters that local plots can use as a measuring stick for their own creations, or to just send down and entertain the PCs. In general, we're trying to design each monster to fight three opponents around their level for about 1 to 3 minutes. Usually. At the moment, we're almost all the necessary monsters are done. So we're making the final touches, polishing everything up. Thus, we estimate there will be a monster ready to use in about 2 months. Finally, it's important to note everything regarding these monsters is optional for local plot. And that's all from us. Thank you.
Alrighty. Okay, so I guess we're going to throw it back over to Marley for which com? Rook for RRC.
Hello again, gamers of Refuge. Talking here, as mentioned, for RRC, Salt Lake's head of rules, and someone who chairs that committee. We call ourselves Rook. As you might have heard. And you might know us for arbitrating acute rules marshals can't find a majority opinion, chatting amongst themselves on the forum or locally. We also do behind the scenes work with and directors on both design, on documentation, development, and the progressives are core related rulebooks. On that note of progress, exciting news. I've got to share the next patch called 1.0.7 has been mostly designed. We'll be bringing it into the development phase here. Soon there will be updates coming to orchestrate and parts of artificing. Well, I can't wait to share more with you. We'll save the teasers for later. Additionally, coming out of our pipeline, the schematics rulebook that will contain many exciting examples of schematics. Meanwhile, we encourage campaigns that haven't already try their hand at LCS schematic design using the format we've included. Let us know how that might turn out if you'd like. Lastly, well, we're streamlining a handful of rituals for readability, like the conformity, and to reflect some contemporary design language ideas with treasure. So as we work through our roadmap that came out in January, we appreciate your patience as we steer you to a hopefully clearer and more robust game. That's all from me for now.
All right. As I hear myself echo. Okay. We're going to kick it over to Jessica right now, and we're going to go over some of the fun campaign names and stuff in chapters. And with that, Jessica, you can take it away. Once I unmute you. There we go.
Ideal. Thank you. For those who don't know me, my name is Jessica Stevenson. I'm one of the co-owners of the Calgary chapter, GM/Plat/ new player rep / whatever hat I need to wear today. And yeah, we are super thrilled to announce, of course, our brand new campaign start of Terranox. We are super jazzed. We just had our very first event last month. It was so fun. There was lots of dinosaurs, and what else is there to say? And maybe also a necromancer is the king, which is obviously a lot of fun to write. So we're super jazzed, and we are always happy to have players from all over come. We have lots of Edmonton players come. We're always happy to have our American friends come play with us. So if you're ever curious about joining us, we have our brand new lore packet up on our website. And of course, you can always reach out to me because I run the new player stuff. So that's me. Why don't I hand it off to who's next on our list here? How about Boise? Who we got from Boise today? I think. Yeah, I wasn't sure if we had any of the other plot teams coming to join on us today, but yeah. I know we have some. Who else do we have here? We don't have our Edmonton folks here today. I know that San Fran was just starting their 5th Age campaign, which is pretty exciting. But yeah, again, like always with all of our chapters, you can always travel between freely. So yeah, feel free to bring your characters up north. It's cooler here. Barely.
Very much barely. All right. So one of the things we also want to announce is we talked about a while back that we were doing a online national event We have had to push that back a little bit. It's going to be on October 16th to 18th. So this is going to be an online digital game. Should be fun for people to kind of get together virtually, because travel is still a little bit weird, especially for the Canadians zipping across to the U.S. and the other way around. So it's going to be Discord and a few other fun little things thrown in, like chat rooms. So if you like, I can't remember what it's called. Marley, do you remember what that thing's called? The little program where people run into a room and then they all kind of like join a little chat room. Barb said it, and it completely went out my brain. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but yeah. So it should be fun. We are working on the logistics of it, of how it's gonna run, how we're gonna log people in and stuff. So the teaser for it is on my Discord. So the teaser for it is: in the time before, the planes looked very different. The realms of refuge stood between a single magisterium plane and a single foundational plane, working to balance the two. But the weavers of fate, psychopomps of the gateway, knew that the balance was doomed and called on the heroes of refuge to save what they could, preventing the destruction of all in the process. And so the call comes to you. Can you help save the realms of refuge and prevent a catastrophe from striking when the balance is destroyed? Only time will tell. So all the names are still work in progress, of course. If you're interested in helping with that national plot, please hit up Barb from PDX. She's taken the point on it. So that should be fun. We are also Gather Town. Thank you. That's the name. Thank you, Corin. I'm like, I knew it was something with town in it. Thank you. Yes, it is my face, Rick. But yeah, so we also are working on a national event for next year. I believe we're kind of throwing around dates right now. I think the last time the board we discussed it was September long next year. Just because that is the time where Canada and the U.S. have a holiday that actually overlaps. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Boise and Utah are taking the point on that one. Am I correct? As everyone goes, maybe. But yeah.
I believe so to the best of my knowledge, but I figured
rolling that out. We'll give some more information on the next town hall and stuff. But yeah, so at this point, I think we can go into a Q&A. Jessica, you're going to take...
Yeah, I've been just sort of keeping an eye on the chat here.
No, you're never late. It's just a nice chat today. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I apologize. I'm not sure if the YouTube function is working super great for the subscribers only mode. For example, I'm not able to comment. So if for whatever reason you're not able to leave a comment in the YouTube channel, please do either DM me on Discord or just ping us in the general chat. I've got that open as well. So basically this was kind of our time to grab some questions from people, especially if you have questions about any upcoming events, any upcoming rule changes, if you have any limited questions about our online national event, or any specifics about any of the committees you've heard about, kind of what stuff they're up to. So feel free to throw those in the chat here. I'll be keeping an eye on those. Or like I said, in the Discord also. For any of our people that are here, any questions, I guess, from anybody else in the team that you're curious about hearing more about?
Sorry, I'm kind of listening to the YouTube at the same time, and the double voice is getting to
do
it. Yeah.
And I have no idea why it's doing that.
Hey, Marley, I got a question for you. So we have a bunch of numbers in all of our rules editions. Like we're currently at 1.0.6, so on. So my understanding is that those kind of mean different things, and it's not been really clear to our players what those numbers mean. Are you willing to talk about that?
You bet. What's with all the dots? Is one of our What's with all the dots? Is one of our most common questions. So there to record changes, of course. Build logs. There to record changes, of course. Life build logs. Rules alike. Change in excites some, discomforts others. Excites some, discomforts others. But it's inevitable, and but it's inevitable, with it helping us both sustain and thrive our game. Both sustain and thrive our game. Resolved to have the board resolved to have origin resolved to have an origin resolved to have an iterative version of a new version every 2 years. Every 2 years. You're probably like, they've changed a lot more. We've got all these dots. So to understand why, terminology, peek into the terminology. First of all, we've got hot fixes, patches, versions, additions, versions. I'll pause and additions. And say that we heard everyone loud and clear about. We heard everyone loud and clear about bad. 1.0.6. This was sort of an unpatch-like patch. This was sort of an uncommitted to ensuring and bumpy rollout. Remains an rollout. Remains an anomaly. With that in mind. 1.0.7. That in mind, be a larger scope patch. Will also be a larger scope patch. A patch is typically a minor update to the system. A minor update to the system. Adjudicated clarifications from Rook. Adjudicated clarifications. Focuses on streamlining or reordering the focuses on streamlining or reordering the presentation and implementation. There are like rules content 2 a year. There are like 2 a year. Some of them will have no impact on how your game is played. Will have no impact. Just how it's like game is played. Learned for new folks. Just how it's like learned for new folks. Typically don't require live playtesting. Typically don't require live playtesting. Meanwhile, you have versions. The every 2 years like clockwork guys. Include adding and subtracting skills, or changing adding and subtracting skills, or changing the content of those skills. Changes also occur to like subsystems. Changes also occur to like subsystems and dynamics, core game character option sets, dynamics, reimagining character option sets, or versions reimaginings of them. Patch level content versions as well, and patch level content. It's always going to have some alteration to how we learn. It's always going to have some alteration to how we learn and record and play our game. Almost always have a short live playtesting period. Then our fourth number, the .1 of our fourth number, the .1 is a hotfix. Our current game. This is when there's a hot education. This is when there are bugs that are so impactful to our gameplay. Bugs that are so they deserve impactful to our gameplay. Minor corrections. They deserve a quick minor correction where we get in and just rarest of all off schedule. The big number one. Rarest of all, the first number. The big number one. The first you get big changes to Refuge's identity. Where you get big changes to Refuge's iterations on like the central engines. Iterations on like the central engines. Reorganizations of gameplay elements or dynamics. Gameplay elements or dynamics. You can count on the one in first edition to be around. You can count on the one in first edition to be around there. I think for quite a while. Nothing being reinvented to this level anytime soon. Nothing being reinvented. Addition changes always require extended. Addition changes always require extended playtesting. Lots of metrics for one. Anyway. I better wrap up anyway before I put us all wrap up before I put us all nice Sunday. Thanks for listening to the jargon. Thanks for listening to the jargon. For those of you who would never nod off, for those of you who would never nod off, the rules are at stake. Reach out to us through our feedback forums. Reach out to us through our on the Discord or on the Discord at RRC Roll. Using me at RRC Roll.
Awesome.
Happy gaming. Have satisfying marble draws. Have satisfying marble draws.
Yeah. We always aim for those whites. We sure do. Those white, they're stone pulls. We try to get those. So I think, Marley, on your end, maybe if you guys have any headphones or kind of earbuds you can use, that might actually help with some of that double audio that we're getting on the stream. I'm not sure. Maybe we're getting some feedback off of your device, possibly. In the meantime, I don't know if you guys saw, Rick has a really heavy hitter question.
Oh God.
Me personally, I would much rather fight the 20 duck-sized horses than one horse-sized duck. The latter sounds horrifying. 20 duck-sized horses, I could probably punt with a hockey stick. So that's my personal opinion, though.
Also, horses are incredibly fragile creatures when you get down to it, whereas ducks are murderous bastards.
I mean, now if you asked about Canada geese, now that
there's no winning. No matter
they take
the
down
size.
your guys' planes, so there is no winning.
Oh, no. Jason also had a really good question on our Discord about update on 1.0.6 rules progress, the changes that are likely to happen. I'm not sure how much detail you guys want to give. I know we've got some stuff that have gone through committee already and are ready for approval in 1.07.
Do you want to field this one, Marley? Or
Oh, he's muted.
You're muted, Marley.
I think that's a...
We've been actively working through some director-led feedback. Most of the skills that have and there are already a few clarifications up on the forums, which will definitely make appearances in some form in 1.0.7 form. Right now, we're not looking at 1.0.7. Right now, we're not looking at another hot patch. So look to local rulings. And marches forward there.
Awesome.
I will say that we're not going to hard commit to a date the way that we did with 1.0.6. That is part of what got us into some of the issues with 1.0.6 in the first place. So we are doing a much more thorough rules process here and making sure it goes through all the proper channels and gets looked at by all the proper people before it goes out.
Awesome.
Yeah, and just to toss into
there is a lot of I'm feeling autumn.
Chat with the directors ongoing, with RRC ongoing. We do value everyone's input when we get that kind of information in. It does get heard. Your directors do move them towards us, and it does have an effect. The one thing everyone does have to remember is that this is a big volunteer organization. So it is, RRC is busting their butts, but it's volunteer based. RAC is busting their butts. Everyone is really doing a huge job, and it's all volunteer. No one's getting paid for it. If anyone ever says they're getting rich off a LARP, I ask them how, because that definitely doesn't happen. So things do move at the speed of committee, at the speed of volunteers. And people have to kind of be a little bit patient about it. I know a lot of folks, even myself included, would like to see things happen, fast. That'd be great, wonderful. But it's much different if you're running something for a small group of friends versus 7 chapters with hundreds of participants. That entire moving kaleidoscope is always going to be difficult to just kind of throw things out there, and it's you can't just throw things out there, see what sticks, fix it next month, et cetera, et cetera. It is a lot of work involved by a lot of people. So that's one of the things just to try to remember when we're talking about this stuff.
I actually have a question, if that's cool.
Absolutely.
I would love to hear from our Monster Committee what you're kind of hoping for the database to look like. Do you guys want it to be more like an online sort of repository of like an information bank? Do you guys want it to be kind of like an updated document that passes between people, or what does that look like?
I can answer that, or if you want to, Sunny, please go ahead. All right, so I'll answer that.
A+.
So the idea behind it is it's going to be a online database that will be accessible to all players, that can be used as a format for existing chapters, new chapters, or even just new plot teams in an existing chapter. Plus, it kind of serves as a yardstick to get a gauge as to where we believe monsters should be as far as people that are making their own monsters for their own plot, because that's an intrinsic part of Refuge. I know I make my own for Broken Shards. I haven't met a plot team yet that doesn't make some of their own monsters. Our hope is that once you have made those monsters, you'll be able to add those to the national database as something that can be looked at later. I know plot teams are going to all be like, I don't want players to see my monsters. Most of them get a general idea of what your monster is going to be like after they've encountered it about 50 times on the field. So once they've encountered it about 50 times on the field, feel free to add it on so that people can get a good idea and have something that they can reference and compare and contrast. And everybody really has this ability to see what they've been dealing with. As far as distribution, it's going to be done through Google Docs, specifically because it's distributable, it's editable, everybody has it. We don't have to worry about everybody making sure they have a Microsoft license.
Yeah.
The main one will be locked, of course, so you'll have to, get your own copy, just like you do with a lot of Excel sheets. Any of your logistics teams will tell you how that'll work. And that way it also enables somebody to say, yes, I am someone who studies the standards of the standard monsters of Refuge. I kind of know what undead do.
And how many people are you hoping to have on this committee? I know there's like a few of you working kind of tirelessly on this to make this kind of work, but are you hoping for like 10 people on this, 20 people?
We were hoping originally to get about somewhere between 5 to 7.
Yeah.
So a good amount of participation from all of the different chapters. We ended up with 4, and then a liaison from RRC to make sure that we have good, solid rules on these monsters, because we don't want to make those kind of silly rules mistakes that people do when you're making literally hundreds of monsters.
Fair.
So we're pretty good where we are now, especially since we've gotten through it. If somebody really has a passion for it, coming on now isn't necessarily a bad thing, but we're mostly okay at this point.
I love it. Let's see, do I have any more questions in the chat? Mostly discussions about chickens.
Which we had to fight last event.
Yes, you did.
And the jokes did not stop all day. They still keep going.
We wrote it for that. It was great.
It was wonderful.
So many chicken jokes. Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else, but I'm willing to field any. If you've got those questions that you think may be too hardball, throw them at me. I'm not going to try and dodge them. I might get beamed in the head by one, but I'll try and catch and at least talk to it as best I can.
Well, in the meantime, I see Paige has jumped on. So if we can go to Paige and just throw it right to poor Paige and just throw them without knowing what's going on, we can talk a little bit about what RTC has been doing.
Cool. Are we live?
We are.
We're live.
Okay. Sorry, the timing I was told was a little... My bad. Hi, so I am Paige Scott. I'm a member of the Refuge Tech Committee. Sorry, old habits die hard. And currently we are working on getting Ritual Skulls printing out for your lovely logistics teams. So we're working on kind of adding that as part of like our ongoing effort to make logistics a lot more seamless and a lot easier. Really working with the rules committee to update from the old app into a new rules base, make sure that things are aligned and steady. Definitely running into some problems where, we've just got a lot of legacy code to dig out and some new rules to put in. So it's some great fun work. We're definitely looking for folks to come and join us. We have a couple of developers who are helping out, but my wife, who does not actually play, has done a lot of the coding for us. So big props to her. But if you'd like to come and learn some about web development, we've got some senior web developers who are excited to teach. We're looking for people who can do just about anything. We're happy to train you. Right now, we have a Ruby on Rails application, and it does it's HTML, CSS, and Ruby on Rails. And other than that, a little bit of JavaScript thrown in there. But happy to train anybody who'd like to jump in. If you're somebody who's just really good at breaking things, we can always use some QA. But those are the things that we're up to these days. So keeping the wheels on and trying to work on a lot more tooling for our lovely logistics folks.
I think every monster database should have a goose hydra, I think, is the answer to your question. I'm the stat card for that, personally.
I just love hearing poor Bela just like, what the?
Yeah, just a heavy size in the background.
Yeah, just a heavy size, just perfect. It's right there where it needs to be.
Don't tempt me. I will put a Magusa in there.
Oh,
Ooh.
yes.
I like it.
It could be Canadian.
Horrifying and also hilarious.
And don't worry, I promise not to put superfluous U's in everything. Breaking things you say. Yeah. Sorry, Paige, you just got Rick's attention. My condolences.
So again, if you're having trouble, as always, having trouble using the YouTube live stream chat, like I said, please do jump onto our national Discord and the general chat. We've got a couple of questions coming through that way. So apologies, because I'm not sure why that's not working, because I've been a subscriber forever, and it's not letting me post. So I don't know what's up with that. It's been weird.
God,
sorry, I'm just watching the chat roll through, and I'm just, people apparently are asking the RMC for a Magusa, so that'll end up in there somewhere.
Yes, I think we did lose Marley here. I'm not sure.
Well, I do need to write a boss monster somewheres. It may be my example boss monster.
How not to write a boss monster? Yeah, so that's one of the things also.
Bots.
Yeah, so one of the things that we are doing as well, and when I say we, I mean the RTC, we're looking at moving all the websites to a new domain, a new host. They're going to be all WordPress sites, so it'll be easier for teams to go in and adjust their own websites instead of having to rely on someone who knows how to code web and stuff, which is really important. We are also a big note. Any email addresses you had in your database that had .com, refugelarp.com, get rid of those. We are going to our .orgs only. .com was a placeholder. It got tossed into a Google work environment, and it has been an absolute nightmare to deal with that. So we are removing those. Hence why everyone you see has a .org name. So president at refugelarp.org, chairperson, secretary, RTC, all that stuff is all refugelarp.org. So, burn the .com ones. They will not be working.
This is for national level stuff, though, right?
This is for national level stuff. Yeah. Anything that was on the chapter level works because we have full control of all those emails and all that stuff on our side. But it was the refugelarp.com stuff that did not work. It cost us way too much money for the little bit we were using it. We are working on getting a proper Google Doc repository that all of the that we'll be sharing through all the committees, through all the chapters and stuff, so that we can have a very robust interconnected stuff. So we share monsters, share some plots, a whole bunch of stuff. So that's an important thing going forward, that we get that kind of straightened out, because it's been a little bit wonky, and we're working through it. But RTC has been absolutely insanely stellar. Everything you guys see on the database, that is all them. Everything that has been posted, changed, updated, etc. That's all RTC. They are incredibly generous with their time. This is a main skill set, so this is not something that I could just type up myself. That sure would look ugly, but getting the writs on there is going to be good. We have a whole bunch of stuff on the database coming up, but we have honestly one of the most robust databases in a LARP category. It's very important that we thank them a lot for what they do. So
And Derek, to answer your question, all the .ca stuff, so that's all local level stuff.
Yep.
So everything that's like, Refuge LARP, Edmonton.ca, all that stuff is still fine.
Yep.
Just the workers and the national level stuff we're finding it real challenging. So hence their change.
Yep.
I don't have any other questions right now.
All right. Well, we can end a little early if that is what we do.
Sure. I just got the notification my dinner's here. So.
I was wondering what that was.
It's the summons to go eat things. That's what that is.
There you go. That's awesome.
But
so we will definitely have another one of these coming up soon. When 1.7 gets dropped out, we'll definitely want to have some chats about that. Again, RRC and the publicity committee and stuff will have forums, feedback forums and stuff. I know at the local level, Calgary is always doing a feedback forum after every event, and they are bringing that information right up to the national level. I know Edmonton does the same thing because I'm playing those, so I know definitely what they're doing. But and I know the other chapters are doing that as well. Again, we're all ramping up. It's going to be, a kind of a nice day or a nice rest of the year for events, and we can see a lot of stuff ramping up next year. And we're really hoping to get that announcement of the national event when we can. And we'll go from there. So
yeah,
Mark. So yeah, your answer to how much data have we been getting? A lot. Again, it's Calgary has done a remarkable job in getting their information and bringing it very forward to the directors. So the directors, we run every 2 weeks. We do a directors meeting, so we are very active. It's a several hour meeting, and then that gets pushed back to committees and everything else. So,
it's been great for the rules. Getting this feedback is absolutely vital.
Especially the crafting stuff has been really, really nice to be able to just hand that straight over to the rules committee and be like, hey, this is what the players are telling us about what they're playing with. It's awesome.
Yeah, and like we've seen it from all different angles. We've seen really high level events go off and extremely low level events. I think, what was Barb's APL 6?
Oh, that was mine.
There we go.
But yes.
Yeah, so we had APL 6 event go off. We had Calgary was sitting at APL 30 or something silly
29,
at some point.
Yep.
There we go, 29. So we're getting a lot of varied stuff. So it's not just, everything's low and then you ramp it up and you see where it can break. We are seeing a lot of that come back and forth. Yeah, absolutely, Rick. I 100% agree. It's all data. Like we look at, the nice thing is, like I said, our database is so beautiful because if we ask RTC, hey, we want to see, who's playing dwarves, they can literally pull that information up. We can say how many people are using Doomblow as a skill in one of their characters. We can pull that information up. We can pull a lot of stuff because we are getting the data points in place. And again, that is huge thank you to the tech committee for getting that going. So
yeah, I think it's also going to be really useful from like the monster perspective as well, to be like, we can run our monster database and see how many of our monsters use this specific ability, and is it something we can cut from bloat, or is it something that's really essential to that what archetype that monster is. So yeah, data is important. Rick, it's chicken korma, and I'm really, really excited.
Well, for that I would be too. So I'm right there with you.
APL, Kaylee, is average player level. So you take, my character's 42, and you take a third level character divided by 2, and that's your APL. So it's the average player level for each game.
Yeah. So for reference, like 2.5 would be like very starter, and then 29, like we ran at the end of Calendonia, was bananas. It was a lot of very high level characters, which did drop to 23 for Terranox, which was kind of fun. So yeah. Yeah, totally, Marley.
Yeah, thank you for that. And that's one of the things that I always want to make sure that all of our players know. We're just trying to make the game better for y'all. We're not trying to bully or push any kind of agenda. It is just we're trying to make the game as good as it can be for as many people as possible. And to do that, we want to hear from you. We, there are channels for it, so, I'm pretty approachable online. I don't mind being messaged. My response time may be slow if it's a particularly busy week because I wear a lot of hats here. But yeah, if anybody's watching this and they want to, they have an idea, they want to get involved, they want to help Refuge be the best LARP that it can be, help it to grow, yeah, get in contact with us. We are not a monolithic entity. We are just people trying to do the best we can.
That's actually been really cool. Like I said, I'm kind of a co-owner, but I'm not the director for our chapter, so I sort of get this third's eye perspective on the director conversations that kind of go on in the background that I had no idea about until I kind of was privy to that sort of stuff. And it's been really cool to see the length and breadth of opinions and how each kind of chapter sort of brings their own sort of culture and their own sort of player base into consideration of what's fun and what's cool and what can we do from a rules perspective, from an inclusivity perspective, to move towards fun and cool in all areas, which is awesome.
So it looks like Rick has tried to break our database.
Successfully, apparently.
And task failed successfully.
Nice.
So type it up and we'll get that
RTC at refugelarp.org.
Yep, that's the one. I couldn't remember it off the top of my head.
This is the danger of asking people to fail things for you. They will absolutely do it.
Hey, at least he only did it to the free play because he's not a complete jerk.
Well...
Don't.
Hey, I said complete.
This is true. All right. Well, I think this is where we can call it for the night. We've chatted for about 45 minutes. I think that's great for a little check-in with everyone. And we will definitely get this rolling again. We got the, we'll iron out some Marley tech bugs and a few other things and make sure we'll figure out where that echo came from. I'd like to know myself. But yeah, we'll get things figured out for sure. And yeah, so again, if you have anything, folks, our Refuge LARP Discord is an absolute great place to post stuff. If you have suggestions, rules discussions, all that fun stuff. And again, if you want to join committees, definitely hit up the committee heads, and we'll go from there, and hopefully we'll get some more fun stuff rolled out before the end of the year, and we'll definitely get another Q&A before the end of the year once we get 1.7 rolled out, and we'll go from there. So, Bailiff, Jess, anything else you guys have?
Thank you guys
I'm just
going to
be particularly pedantic since Marley's not here. It'll be 1.0.7.
Oh, no.
I had to do it for Marley's sake.
Yeah, I could just I could see him almost spinning from Utah. All right,
Oh, no.
Everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.